Yo, what up,
I welcome
friends?
you to the mind of the professor. CIA agent John Homeston came out and claimed that the CIA used gangster rap to destroy the minority, mainly black and brown communities. So I'm going to investigate whether this CIA agent and what he has said has actually holds any credence, or whether this is just another guy saying things. I will tell you personally, I have worked with a lot of governmental agencies, and I'm not going to say anything that I shouldn't say, but let's just say that I know a lot about the government and how they handle things, and a lot about the government's past and things that the government has done to the American population unknowingly and unwittingly. And we will get into a few of those in a second. So if you really want to believe in conspiracy theories, stay tuned in just a moment. But I do want to play a quick interview, or not interview. I want to play a quick synopsis of the interview from the CIA agent, because let me let y'all know, folks, this interview that this CIA agent did, which by the way was on Russian national television, he was fully blacked out, so he was trying to protect himself. This has been completely wiped from the internet. You cannot find it anywhere. If you posted it on your YouTube, your channel has been erased. I know, because I saw a couple earlier in my research that were gone. Like, this is crazy, y'all. So is he telling the truth or not? We'll come to find out. Let's investigate a little bit and find out what's going on. Let me play this little clip for y'all. This comes from Hard Talk Radio, and also comes from The People's Voice, which is a online site. So courtesy of The People's Voice, shout out for this. But we'll listen to a little bit of
Fair use.
John Homeston, a retired CIA agent, has admitted on national television that hip-hop was a psyop invented by the CIA in the 1980s, and the agency has directed and financed household names, including NWA, Dr. Dre, Jay-Z, and Kanye West. The government at the time spent big money on this covert operation designed to corrupt the American youth to nihilist anti-establishment and anti-American ideologies, and sow division in America. He explained in a half-hour interview broadcast on national television. Before we establishment lyrics were intended to unleash a wave of cynicism towards authorities, glamorize the use of narcotics, and entice the youth with revolutionary counter-establishment ideas. The retired CIA agent claims that social engineering PSYOP was extremely successful, particularly with left-leaning young Americans who, according to Homeston, have been completely brainwashed with anti-American messaging. We understood at the time that music was a powerful means of propaganda to reach the youth, explained the 77-year-old man. Our mission was to use teenage angst to our advantage and turn Generation X into a decadent, pro-drug and anti-establishment culture that would create uprisings and further division within society. We even infiltrated mainstream radio to promote their music and reach millions of people every day, he admitted, visibly proud of the accomplishment. For many of us in the CIA, infiltrating the 1980s hip-hop scene was one of the CIA's most successful experiments of propaganda to date, he acknowledged during the interview. You could say Frankenstein's monster got up off the table and started goose-stepping. The retired CIA agent, who was granted a Russian residence permit in 2011, also claimed Leah Cohen, commonly known as the tall Israeli who runs hip-hop, is a CIA asset, as are many of the household name artists he signed and promoted. When it comes to
this is a crazy, crazy story, y'all. So let's investigate. Could there be some actual truth to this? So first of all, as Flo pointed out from the Bottom Line Sports, this was on a Russian news station. Yes, as I mentioned, it was on national TV in Russia. He was completely blacked out. You couldn't see him. Voice changer. So clearly, that, to me, if you're going that far to protect yourself, there's some credence to this. And if you know me, I believe that when there's some smoke, there is some fire. So, what he said when he came out saying that the CIA used these, not only gangster rap, but NWA and other, certain gangster rap personalities to infiltrate the minds of the youth. And this is not anything that is new, right? I mean, if you go all the way back, back in the day, you can go all the way back to the 20s when they were talking about how music was influencing the slaves. The music that was created by the slaves was influencing Black people to be able to progress and bring their freedom. You can go to when Elvis was perpetrated for stealing Black music and using it to, influence the youth. You can go even further to when they talked about the hippie age or the, disco era and how that music was used to infiltrate the public into drug use, which came after the whole LSD, which, by the way, we're going to get into that in a little bit as well. But CIA introduced LSD into the population, and that is proven fact. So when you look at these number of things of how they have used music in the past to try to influence people into certain things, it's not far-fetched that this could be, a true statement by a CIA agent. And it doesn't matter, if you're Black or white when it comes to this subject, because if we're to be completely honest about this, the majority of people after the 90s into the early 2000s, and even the early 90s after the 80s, obviously, most of the people that were buying these records, most of the people that were buying hip hop were Caucasian youth, right? So if and this is, again, you're going to hear me cover both sides. I'm looking at things from all sides, but if you're looking at it from the this is false side, well, then if they were trying to destroy only minority communities, did they really do that if most of the people buying it, after were Caucasian? Now, what other credence does this hold, though? Because let's go back a little further to that same time that we were talking about with the NWA. And let's just hear really quick. I'm going to present for you what Ice Cube had to say on this same subject. So Ice Cube was actually on a podcast on Bill Maher's show, Club Random, and he did he did ascribe to the people that own the prisons, own the record labels, are the same people that have money and stock invested in the profit for private prison system. I didn't want to Peter Piper myself there. But if you've known this country for a long time, if you've known, the prison system and why prison was invented in the first place, which was to, to be completely honest, keep minorities, especially Blacks, oppressed and out of society. And these are for-profit prisons. And most people don't understand that all the prisons, 90% of them actually is the number, are for-profit. And so they're making money off of anyone that they put in jail. So we need to keep these things in mind when we are actually, evaluating the facts. So let me go ahead and play this for y'all real quick, and listen to Ice Cube and what he has.
Very common if we really go down to the root of it. Could not agree more. Yeah. But you said it's being done to divide us. Okay, by who? Who's doing it?
Well, who benefits and profits off our bickering and our division? Who follow the money? I don't know their names, but if you follow the money, you go high enough, you start to see, okay, this is an industry. Okay, let's take rap music.
Let's take it.
Same people who own the labels own the prisons. So
literally the same people?
Literally the same people who own the labels own private prisons. So it seems really kind of suspicious, if you want to say that word, that, the records that come out are really geared to push people towards that prison industry.
But they didn't make you write those lyrics.
It's not about making somebody write the lyrics. It's about being there as guardrails to make sure certain songs make it through and certain songs don't. certain flavors are exposed on the record. You know, some records are made by committee, meaning record company guys sit around and tell the artists, this is hot, say that, do this. We're gonna have this guy write the lyrics. We're gonna have that. So the narrative.
So the narrative is, and I'm gonna stop Cube right there. As much as I respect Cube, and as much as I respect everything he's done, there's a little bit of incongruence in his statement. Because if you look at what the CIA just said, he said they used NWA. Not only that, but even further, the NWA or the CIA, crafted, and the CIA agent claims this, by a team of psychologists and war propagandists. The CIA is the ones who crafted these lyrics for NWA. F the police, and when I'm called off, I got a sawed off, squeeze the trigger, and bodies are hauled off. The CIA agent claims that the CIA wrote that lyric for NWA, among many others. So if that's the case, then what Cube is saying here has not only a little bit of truth to it, because he's basically telling you, right? But he's also kind of denying that it happened, even though in his mind, maybe if the CIA agent is telling the truth, was Cube and NWA forced to write certain lyrics that would make other people in the community, black and brown community, want to kill each other, want to destroy each other from the inside? Again, music has been used for a long time to brainwash people. Long time now. Even Alicia Keys, very, very low-key Alicia Keys, came out in 2008 and said gangsta rap was a ploy to convince black people to kill each other. Alicia Keys! Hey, I ain't never heard her talk. I hear her sing. Beautiful singer. Beautiful girl. I ain't never heard her talk. And she said that. When there's smoke, there's fire, people. Pay attention. I keep saying this to you people, but you don't listen. When powerful people speak, you must listen to what they are saying, because they know more than you. I guarantee they know more than you. Let's move on a little bit. Was gangsta rap propagated by the CIA for the degradation of the black and brown community? Hip-hop was born back in the 70s in the Bronx. You know, Jamaican-born cool DJ Hurt out there spinning on the ones and twos. You know what I mean? DJs playing house parties, MCs starting to come up. First, they started as just basically a narrator for the DJ, and then started telling their own stories. It's a whole art. It's a whole skill. Sometimes even considered a religion. I wouldn't, but you know, some people do. KRS had an album called The Temple of Hip Hop. So he's my favorite rapper. So can music be used to influence people? Yes. Was it in this case? Let's dive in a little further. And the reason that I want to go in further is not because of the nature of gangster rap. We know gangster rap. If you've heard NWA, if you've heard any of the other groups that have or artists that have been involved in so and so called gangster rap, you know what their lyrics are about. I'm not about to start quoting them on here or anything like that. But we know it deals with the harsh realities of the place that they grow up in. We know it deals with the whether it was them or not. I mean, when you look at it from both sides, there's people on one side that say, okay, well, Dr. Dre was part of the world-class Wrecking Crew beforehand. That was a disco group. How he all of a sudden become a gangster, right? Apparently none of them were, except Eazy-e was the only one in the streets. But apparently Eazy-e was the biggest one infiltrated with the government, which is why he even got invited to the White House. Y'all remember that? Anybody remember when Eazy-e was invited to the White House? And then a few months later, mysteriously died of full-blown AIDS, which he didn't even have 2 months before. Huh. Magic. You out there? Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Just wanted to make sure. When powerful people speak, you listen because they're trying to tell you something. And the fact is that not only music has been used to influence the youth, but why don't we just go even further with it? Why don't we keep going further? Huh? Why don't we go all the way back to the crack cocaine epidemic? Are you telling me the CIA wasn't a part of that? I think you need to dig a little bit further. Gary Webb of the San Jose Mercury News back in 1993, 1994 wrote a series of 3 articles that exploited the CIA and their ties to the Nicaraguan Contras and how the CIA was bringing in drugs or facilitating the movement of drugs, facilitating the movement of drugs from Nicaragua and other South American countries into Los Angeles and into these black communities in order to destroy. And we don't need to go into this, y'all. If you've been around long enough and you are any sort of person that has even thought about the inner city. Now, I can't talk to any of my fans or people who are watching now from the suburbs or maybe have never known about black culture, but there used to be something called the crack cocaine epidemic back in the 80s, right? And it was so substantial that all of a sudden crack cocaine became an epidemic in the inner cities. And I'm not saying that was the only place that people did it. But doesn't that make you think a little bit further into why the propensity, why the majority of a substance that could be, so addictive would only be affecting the inner city? Or why is it in a different form? And even further, why did, and this is not across the board, obviously, everything I say you need to take relatively, but we've seen the jailing sentences. A black person getting caught with rock cocaine back in the 80s would have brought him 5 to 10 years. A white man with powder cocaine would have got a slap on the wrist, 3 months, maybe. But why would this be true? Why would the government want to destroy the black community from the inside? And brown community. I mean, not disrespect, obviously there's a lot of minorities in this country now. But back then, the inner cities that we're talking about were mostly African American. Why would that be the case? I contend, very unpopular opinion, with the for-profit prison system, obviously, the government, Americans, Caucasians, are still not comfortable with the influx of immigrants. Let me say very nicely, because the guise of immigration cracks me up, considering everybody in this fucking country is an immigrant. All of you. All you white people are immigrants too. But we all know the Native Americans were here first. Let's not be stupid. Let's not be dense. And that's okay. Whatever. They used to call it God's destiny and or what was it, Manifest Destiny that they used to call it? Why Christopher Columbus had to slaughter the Native Americans and we had to take this country over as America. Hey, everybody has their own reasons for doing things. We are where we are now. We cannot take that past back. But what we can do as Americans on Memorial Day, we can look at each other in the eyes and tell each other that we value each other, that we love each other, and that we respect each other no matter the race, religion, differences, whatever, opinions, whatever. The reason we have freedom of speech in this country. So I can come on here and spew my bullshit and you can get mad at me. But at least my bullshit is supported and researched in facts. I spent 2 weeks researching for this episode, and that doesn't even count the countless amounts of research I've done before that. Why? Go back even further. Y'all think I'm joking. Go back further. What about MK Ultra? What about MK Ultra? When the CIA introduced LSD into the country on unknowing and unsuspecting American citizens for the purpose of bettering ourselves at war, for the purpose of bettering ourselves from getting secrets from foreign enemies. We drugged our own people and didn't tell them. You don't think that's fucked up? Let me tell y'all, look, I know, I get it. Some things I may be saying right now may be a little confusing. They may even be a little hurtful. You may think, I can't believe that the government would do this to us. But please believe, I have not only been in the government, but I've been in a lot of those deeper worlds for a long, long time. And I know a lot more than most people on these subjects. And the fact is that the government has an agenda, no matter who it is. I hate all politicians. I think they all suck. The left, the right, I think they all suck. I'm an independent. I hate all politicians. I think they're liars. I think they're snakes and a cheat. Woo! Shout out Francis. But you know what? Again, they control shit. Start listening, y'all. Let's think about this. The United States now has a incarceration population of 1.23 million, and that's in prison. If you count in jail, where is added 6 to 7 million people per year in and out, think about that. Think about that. 1.230 is 0.45% of the population is what I calculated. Less than 5%. That's still too much. Do other countries have that much population of their people in jail? No. Believe me, we have the most. I did a lottery. Believe me, we have the most incarcerated people by far. By far. Russia's next, if you wanted to know who's next. Russia. Which does not surprise me at all. But Russia has half. Half. Russia. A communist state. Start listening, people. Start doing your research. Start looking into more of what these people are trying to do to us. They're trying to oppress us. They're trying to keep us down. Let me cite a couple more stats on this before I move on. Just because I think it's very important that you all hear these statistics about not only the prison population, but and I was going to go a lot further. I really was. I have pages and pages of research right here on the CIA and crack epidemic with all the way from Freeway Ricky Ross and Delano Blanton and all of them. Believe me, I could go very, very deep into this for the next few hours. I'm not going to. You all can do your own research. I don't want to bore y'all. I got a Celtics game to catch up on anyways, but I just wanted to give y'all a little bit of what y'all should be thinking about What y'all should really know is going on in your community, in your lives, when you don't even have a clue it's happening to you. This drug trafficking on our community has been happening forever. At least 30 years. I'm sorry, 30 years. MK Ultra was in the 50s, so at least 80 years. Right? We got to think, y'all. We got to think. 90%, as I mentioned, of the core civic of America, which is the main jail prison owner, for profit. Right? Their main goal is to put as many people in prison as possible in order to keep their forced slavery system progressing. You don't think it's for slavery? Well, let me tell you right now, I have a very intimate experience with this as well. I will not say why, but just know that every person, not, let me take that back before somebody twists my words out of context. A majority of the prison system is used to bring down certain segments of our population. Now, again, whether you agree with that or not, there is proof in the pudding that the CIA has been trying to infiltrate our community, and not just black, white too, our communities for a long time. Just know that you need to be looking out for yourself and know that the government is not in it for you. Them politicians don't care about you. Them government workers don't care about you. The only people that may care about you is the military, because they have sacrificed themselves to go out and give parts of their lives for you. And if you're going to do anything, respect them. But as for the government, as for the CIA, I cannot see what they've done in the past and not take a more dissected eye towards what may be going on. So when you think that people are in the community and they are, I don't want to say being forced, but doing certain things due to certain, just know that the government has a very big involvement in what you see, what you do, what comes on TV, what music you listen to, what commercials are played, all of this stuff, everything that is put for your consumption is decided by someone higher than you. And I don't mean higher than you in an existential purpose. I just mean higher than you in position of what they can show. The government controls the media, y'all. And you know, Flo, that okay. You wanna be funny? Haha, funny. There you go. I showed your joke. That wasn't the point of that. The point was that at that point in time, no black man that could be considered a gangster rapper would have been invited to the White House. But all of a sudden, under inconspicuous and unfortuitous circumstances, he was invited. Okay. No, I'm not necessarily citing Alicia Keys as a story. I'm just telling you what was said from a person who you would never hear that from. Right? It's not about exactly what they say. It's about listening to people that know more than you, Flo. You're not closer than she is to this. She's in music. She's obviously closer than you to this. She obviously knows more than you. She ain't coming out saying that for nothing. What, because she just wanted to have fun on a Friday? Okay. Let me just say this. We agree to disagree. Hey, I love hip hop. I am a hip hop artist. I've been doing hip hop for a long time. And you know, I I respect your opinion as I respect everybody's opinion. I would say I'd have to disagree. Even with the drill rap now, they say the CIA is involved in that, and the drill rap where all the people in the hood are using this music and obviously not the music because drill rap is more predicated on the actual violence and then the music that comes after. But what is that a change from what came before? It's all a transition from all of this. It's all a transition from this story. It's the same shit. You're right, Dad. I don't mean every government worker. I should take that back. That was a little broad of me. Not every. I was a government worker. I care about people. You're right. You're right. Um, I mean the people that are in power that make the decisions that are less favorable to these people in these circumstances. Go back and look at MK Ultra, y'all. That's all I gotta say. Go back and look at the crack cocaine epidemic. You can't be telling me that there's not weird things happening there. And again, where there's smoke, there's fire.